Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be fixing a Samsung Galaxy S9 cracked screen. We'll be doing a full screen assembly replacement. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is just put down this screen since it's cracked and it's already lifting off. And now it's time to start opening up the back of the phone. So to open up the back of the phone, you can apply heat to the back to weaken the adhesive. Or if you don't have that, you can use a suction cup. So here it is. And you can use it to lift off the back of the phone. But then you will also need a plastic pry tool to also lift up the back of the phone. So we can use the suction cup to kind of ease up the back like this. And we can use the pry tool to work our way underneath the back of the phone. So you guys can see the phone is now open. So I'm just gonna take off the suction cup, put it down. Yeah, because the phone is now open. And we'll just put the back right there. And now it's time to remove the screws from this old assembly. Alright guys, so to remove the screws, I'm going to be using a 1.2 millimeters Phillips screwdriver bit. So let's start removing these screws. A thing to note while removing these screws, guys, is not to mix them up. Keep the screws in a position so you can put them back where they came from. Alright guys, now that we have removed these screws, we can start removing the bracket for this phone. So we can lift up this little plastic thing, and then this top arm bracket will come off with the camera and fingerprint stuff. And then we can remove the side panel right here, and also the speaker part right here. We can use this small little pry tool to kind of lift it up. So let's use it to ease it up a bit. Right, and now it comes off just like that. So this is the speaker, and we can put it down right there. And now guys, it's time to remove the rest of the components. Guys, I lost the footage for the motherboard removal, so I'll just explain what I did. I simply removed the two screws holding the motherboard. Then I disconnected the ribbon cables. And finally, I unclipped the motherboard from the subboard. Now let's continue with the next steps. So let's remove this camera and clip it onto the motherboard. So we'll clip it on right here. Just like that. And now let's remove another component. Alright guys, now we will remove the sub-charging board, which is right here. So let's start by removing these screws. Now that we have removed the screws, we will now disconnect the headphone jack from the subboard. So we'll just clip it off right here. And then we'll just lift it off. Let's just put it right there. And now let's try to remove the sub-charging board. Now guys, to remove the subboard, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there is a small little connector right here for the sub-charging board. So we will need to use a small tweezer to kind of ease it up. So we'll ease it up like this, and it will come off out just like that. And we can use the tweezer to ease it up like this. And we can take out each one of these wires from this little groove right there. And now we can use the small tweezer to kind of ease up the subcharging board. So we'll use it to kind of lift it up, and you'll see it starts to come out just like that. And we can put it down right here. So we have just removed the sub board. And now guys, let's remove another component. Now let's remove the battery. So to remove the battery, I'll be using this small plastic pry tool. And we can also apply a little bit of isopropyl alcohol underneath the battery. And we'll use the pry tool to lift up the battery. So when you apply the isopropyl alcohol, it will weaken the adhesive and make the battery come off easier. Now it's time to remove this front speaker. So to remove the front speaker, we'll be using the pry tool, and we'll use it to kind of lift underneath the front speaker. You can see it comes off just like that. And let's just put it down right there. And now we can remove another component again. Now we can remove this vibrator. So to remove the vibrator, we're going to be using the pry tool and the tweezer. So we're going to use this small tweezer to kind of dig underneath the vibrator. And once we get underneath the vibrator, we can then use the pry tool, the plastic pry tool, to kind of lift up the speaker. So here it just came off like that. Yeah, this vibrator I meant. So we can put it down right there. And now we can take out the other components. Now we can start removing this small little connector right here. So we'll be using this pry tool. And we're just gonna start working underneath here. So we're gonna try to ease it up like this. And it should come off. And then we can just put that in. So now guys, it's time to start moving these components that we removed into the new screen assembly. So let's get started with that. Alright guys, so let's start unboxing the new screen assembly that I ordered. So it comes in this box. Let's open it. I will leave a link in the description for the package, so you guys can order it as well. So we can open up the box, and you can see that it comes with the necessary tools to install the new assembly, guys. You can see, and also the new assembly is right inside of here. So it comes in this little bag. Let's open it up. Right, so here is the new screen assembly, just like that. This is the old assembly. This is the old assembly. And this is the new screen assembly. So let's start moving the parts into it. So guys, first of all, we will need to start testing out this new screen assembly. So let's start doing that. Alright guys, so the first thing we'll do is we will put the vibrator into the new screen assembly. So we'll just put it right here, and we'll try to clip it down just like this. After which we'll peel off this front speaker paste, and we will simply put the speaker onto here. So it goes right there. And we'll just press it down so it sticks properly. Now after doing that, we'll move this proximity sensor into the phone. So we'll put it goes right here. And we'll basically just stick it down onto here. We could use our pry tool to kind of smooth it out a little bit. So could use it like this to smooth it out. And now after we do that, guys, we can finally start moving the motherboard in and the rest of the components. So let's start moving the motherboard in. Before moving the motherboard to the new assembly, let's first put the subboard into the new assembly. So we'll just put it right here and we'll align it properly. Make sure it's clipped down. And we'll fix these connectors properly. Just like this. And that what we can do now, we can put the audio jack in, so we can put it right here. And we can actually clip it down onto the subboard. So right here. And then we can finally start moving the motherboard into the new screen assembly. So what we'll do now is we'll peel this tape right off right here, not all the way, just slightly. We'll just leave it for now. And we'll just get the motherboard and we'll simply put it right here. Let's ensure that it goes down properly. Let's disconnect the camera for now. Just put it right there. And then we can start connecting these little connectors here. So this is one right here. So we'll clip down the motherboard onto the subboard first. Then we can clip down this connector onto the motherboard. We can just get it right. So just clip it down onto there, just like that. Can now connect this wire right here. This blue wire. If I can just get it onto right here. Right, and then we'll connect this white wire right here. Just like that. And now we can connect these flex cables. So let's connect this flex cable right here. We can just clip it onto the motherboard, just like that. Then finally, this little ribbon cable for the screen. We'll connect it right here, just like this. So we'll just try to align it properly. And we'll clip it down just like that. And let's just tape this right here for now. Alright. And now that we have done that, guys, we can now try to test out our screen to see if it comes on. But before doing that, we'll connect the battery for now. So we'll connect the battery onto the motherboard. Alright, if we can just connect it right there. And let's test the screen to see if it comes on. So what I'll do now is I'll just plug the phone in. And let's hold down on the battery so it doesn't fall out. And the phone comes on, guys, which means the new screen is working. So I'll just plug it out for now and we can finish the assembly process. So what I'll do now is I'll just connect this camera back to the motherboard. So I'll just clip it down here. So I'll put it down right there. Then I'll connect this ribbon cable. After doing this, we can start screwing back everything together. So the first thing I'll start screwing down is the subboard, which contains 4 screws. So let's do that. Now that we have screwed the subboard up, we can now screw the motherboard, which contains 2 screws. So let's do that. Now guys, there's one final thing left to do. Let's disconnect the battery and we can finally seal it in properly. So we can try to remove this sticker right here. Let me just take off this little tape right here. And we can peel off this sticker. And we can finally paste the battery in. So we'll just put it down right here. Just like that, and we'll stick it down. And after doing this, we'll connect the battery back to the motherboard. And we can finally just put this tape back down right here. And now let's finish screwing up everything. So what we'll do is we'll lay these wires down. So I'll just get the pry tool and we'll just run it along the wires and try to get it into this groove right here. So we'll just run it into here. Try to get the wires down. So what we'll do now, we'll start by putting the bottom bracket right on the subboard here. So we'll kind of slightly clip it down. Then we'll get the side bracket and we'll put it right here. And we'll get the middle bracket as well. And we'll put it above here. And we'll clip it down just like this. And then there's this fingerprint connector here. We'll just clip it onto the motherboard. Just like that. And we can clip down everything like this. And we can finally start screwing everything together. Alright guys, so now that we have screwed up everything back together, let's test out the screen now to see if it's working. So we'll plug in the phone and let's see if it is coming on. And yes, the phone is coming on guys, which means the new screen assembly is working. So let's wait on it. So you can see it's charging. So now that we have done that guys, we can now finish assembling everything. So we'll put the back on the phone. So we'll be using this adhesive on the back in order to glue the back on to the phone. Alright guys, now to apply the adhesive, we're just gonna peel off this clear plastic. Now guys, because the adhesive didn't come out like I wanted it to, what I did is I sealed the back cover with the actual adhesive. So I'm just gonna put it on now. And let's try to power on the phone and see if it is working. And the phone came on guys, which means the new screen assembly is working properly. You can see we can use the phone now. So now the phone is ready to go. Look at that. So guys, let's just put on the case now on the phone, just like this. And you can see the phone is fully working. We can use it however we want. Now, that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you all learned something valuable. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next